the end of September at 5 o'clock when I'm leaving the office, the feeling of the wind against your face is just perfect. It's at times like that that I think to myself that God must be a rider.
My husband and I found a piece of land in the middle of the woods so that we could build a house. We kind of sit high on a mountain, and there's lots of rock. So I have found that I love to play with rock and to build walls. I recently have built a 20-foot high waterfall, and it's all dry laid. So me and the rock, and I just love to play.
I'm saying choreo!
I am now approaching 60 years old, and Taekwondo came along later in my life, and practicing the martial arts and sparring with people and just doing forms that you learn as you go from one belt level to another belt level, it's a challenge. Sometimes you get beat up along the way, and sometimes you do pretty well, and that's the fun of it, that's the challenge of it.
I was a general surgeon, and when some of the primary care doctors referred patients to me to learn what I needed to know, I would just pick up the phone and talk to that doc, and they knew everything. They knew the patient, they knew the mother, they would be like, Tony, watch for this. These patients and their families, primary care doctors are there for their entire lives. It creates a bond that nobody else in medicine has either the privilege or understanding of what that means.
Medicine has gone through so many changes within a short period of time. You have to be able to accept change more readily, be flexible.
I need to see all the patients today that I have to see, and then I have to go home and hopefully finish all my charts by 11 o'clock so I can go to bed and get up at 5:30 the next morning and start over.
It seems like the day-to-day practice is being intruded upon more and more by paperwork and regulations and documentation issues that have not a whole heck of a lot to do with what the patient is there for.
There's vulnerability in trying to keep pace with your schedule and the daily demands of your workload. There's vulnerability in trying to run a business in today's economics. It's one of the things in medicine that's changing rapidly is all the technological advances. And that technology is sometimes good and sometimes it's a burden, but it's a burden with a direction.
What we're trying to do doesn't exist. So the business model needs to change, the technology needs to be brought to the forefront, networks need to be facilitated. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take courage.
Since my involvement in Tandigm, I have felt much more positive and energized. And I think it's really touching on what my daily frustrations are. And to see a group of people who are bringing together very creative, smart minds to tackle this is huge.
I'm the type of person that I always look forward to a challenge. I look forward to dealing with those challenges, meeting them head on, and learning from them.
Ultimately, the benefit to these changes is in the patient's best interest and in medicine's best interest.
The hardest thing about becoming a doctor is that it is all-encompassing. It is your whole life. It is every moment of your life. And it's hard to find time to take care of ourselves and maybe sometimes find the real bigger picture of what life is about.
Practicing medicine is like Taekwondo in that it takes a great deal of commitment, persistence to succeed in both. You have to just keep at it. And sometimes you succeed and sometimes you don't, but you have to be willing to go back at it again when you don't succeed.
There is a sense of freedom and weightlessness when you're riding. Riding is absolutely a part of me, just as medicine is. Motorcycle ride is nirvana for me. It's a way that I can sort of break away from that discipline for a brief moment in time.
If I could sum up my pleasure of playing with rocks, it would be peace. Because there's no right or wrong way I can lay a rock. It is what it is. And if I don't like it, I take it out and put another rock there. It's just peaceful and quiet.
You know, I always have thought, you know, nobody really cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Primary care doctors, they really care. You know, that's why I keep saying to everybody that walks in the door at Tandigm that if we find a way to help to simplify their lives and put it back to it just being them and their patient, and they have nothing else to worry about, you know, what a world that would be. You know, actually, I guess the best way to say it is, we'll help you do that. We'll put you back in the center of it.